Hi, my name is Aminah Syed, and I am a junior here at Stevenson High School. I am very involved in a lot of equity-minded clubs here at Stevenson, but particularly a club that I founded with a couple of other students is the Muslim Student Association. And my goal in creating this club was to provide a safe space for Stevenson Muslim students to converse and connect. Particularly as a Muslim American and as a Stevenson student, I feel like I haven't necessarily experienced the most welcoming feelings. As a freshman, I actually experienced a very uncomfortable situation in my science class where a Islamic prayer call actually played on my phone, and the entire class just started laughing, like erupted into roaring laughter. And what the most disappointing factor of that was that the teacher actually fueled it more than anything. As the class was making jokes, as these immature freshmen who honestly had no idea a mature woman was able to fuel the fire against whatever it was that was playing. And it was actually like a holy, peaceful prayer call, and as these kids were making insensitive jokes, she added those jokes, and she kept asking questions. Whose phone is this? What's happening? Turn it off. It's very strange. Very insensitive comments. And as a freshman, I was cowering in fear, and I was sitting there looking around, pretending like I didn't know it was me, and I was scrambling to turn my phone off. And afterwards, I silently said, "Oh, it's nothing. It wasn't a call. It wasn't anything. It was just a ringtone on my phone," because I was too embarrassed to say anything. And unfortunately, at that point in my high school career, I was not connected to these equity-minded clubs, and I wasn't connected to, we didn't have a diversity director at that point, Dr. Haney, which we do have now, and I wasn't able to talk to anyone about my experience. It was more so a turning point for me, because that following year, this was when we were back in person, so before COVID, things were so different. And then my sophomore year, as I entered sophomore year, it was post the George Floyd protest, post a semester of COVID, like e-learning. And actually that was the first year that I was appointed to the Diversity Council Executive Board here, which is another club I'm a part of. And I feel that knowing that I had experienced such a horrible situation as a freshman motivated me to do 1,000 times more work for this diversity, equity, and inclusion work, because I knew that it's not just me. Fortunately, I'm not a single situation. I'm not a single person that experiences this. It's a whole group of people, whether they're Muslim or Latina or African American or whoever they are, they experience this marginalization, and I wanted to become a part of a greater cause that would help combat that. And something that I would like people to know about being a Muslim American at Stevenson is that we aren't equally represented here. We aren't given days off during Ramadan. We aren't given a holiday off for Eid. We aren't given the same respect as Christians and Jewish people are given. We aren't given that representation, and I feel that we do deserve it. Especially, we deserve that knowledge. We deserve that awareness, because I feel that the experience I had in freshman year is an experience that multiple Muslims may feel, and the emotions that I felt in that situation were also shared by many as well. It's very interesting because I grew up as a Muslim who wasn't aware of the different divisions that were present in the religion. I always grew up knowing that there were a huge amount of like different divisions of Christianity, and I was like, oh, Islam isn't like that. But then as I joined and as I grew up and as I started this club, I realized that there's so much more to the Muslim community than I realized. And at first I was a little taken aback and I was a little disheartened, because I was like, oh, like I thought that my community wasn't as divided as others were. But then I took that and I was like, you know what, this is an opportunity to actually learn about each other, because there's actually a lot of disparity that exists for different types of Muslims. For example, another sect of Islam that's like a subsect of it is Shia Muslims, and they experience a lot of discrimination in different parts of the world, and I did not know that until I realized that these different divisions existed. So that's one of the things that being a founder of MSA taught me. And additionally, MSA taught me that people need a safe space, and I think it's really easy to forget that, because I've been a part of so many safe spaces like throughout my high school experience, and I was given that that fortunate experience to have that, but a lot of people don't have that access. So the fact that we were able to create a club where these Muslim students can come to for relaxation and for just like an escape from the rest of the school made me feel really good about that. So that's something actually that it taught me. Well, one of the goals that I have for Muslim Student Association is to get people to become more aware about Islam. And there are obviously a ton of hurtful stereotypes about Muslims circulating for the past decade and like prior to that, but mainly the past 2 decades. So being able to like almost squash those stereotypes and create new understandings about our religion, and also I think furthering that notion of community within the Muslim students at Stevenson, because there is also a lot of disagreement when it comes to religion, whether that you're a Muslim or Christian or Hindu. So being able to squash that division, that's, I guess, in our community as well. And then most importantly, just making sure that people are knowledgeable about Islam, because we are such a small community at Stevenson. Getting that representation is something that I'm really looking forward to doing through this club. I think one main thing which goes all across the board for any equity-minded club is be open-minded and really take the initiative to talk to people, because I think I can sit in a room and I can give you a presentation in a slideshow for hours and hours, but you won't really learn until you really talk to someone from that culture, from that religion, from that country, wherever that may be. And in my case, for the Muslim Student Association, I think being able to talk to another Muslim and just see what their experience is, because when you're an out-group from a different, I guess, marginalized community, you don't really see the different aspects of that community, because I am an out-group to many different groups in this school as well, so I see them as one. But once I talk to people, I'm like, oh, so you guys practice this way, but you guys practice that way. So there's these differentiations that you aren't aware of until you talk to someone. And I think when people talk to a Muslim person, they'll be like, oh, so there's this understanding of Islam, but there's also this understanding of Islam. So having that face-to-face communication, I think, will really help people to understand the Muslim experience. And I think another aspect of it is just, which goes with being open-minded, is just spreading that information. Because once you learn something, I feel like you shouldn't keep it from others. You should be able to share that, especially when it's good information. Share it with others and get them involved too. So just pushing people to go out of their comfort zone and just talk to people and learn about a culture that's different than their own.